Okay, let's dive into this. Conor McGregor, the former UFC champion, he's making some serious waves outside the octagon now.
Yeah, he's actually running for the Irish presidency.
Exactly. And he's just thrown out this, well, pretty surprising proposal, potentially game-changing maybe, establishing a national Bitcoin reserve for Ireland.
It's fascinating, isn't it? You've got this huge sports and entertainment figure jumping into Irish politics with such a, well, radical economic idea.
Totally. So what we've got here is a news article covering the announcement, McGregor's own words, the initial buzz.
Right. And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to unpack that proposal. What does it actually mean? What are the potential implications? And, what's the context around this whole thing?
Let's get straight to it then. What did McGregor actually say?
Okay, so May 9th, 2025, he posts on X, what used to be Twitter.
Right.
And he lays out this plan. Create an Irish Bitcoin strategic reserve.
And his reason.
Pretty direct. He said, crypto in its origin was founded to give power back to the people. An Irish Bitcoin strategic reserve will give power to the people's money.
So he's framing it as financial empowerment for the Irish people, giving them more control, basically.
Yeah, exactly. He's tapping right into that decentralization idea, the core sort of principle behind a lot of crypto.
Yeah.
Saying, look, this reserve could be a tool for the average person.
And it wasn't just a throwaway comment, was it? He asked for experts to get in touch.
No, he definitely wants to talk about it more. He invited experts to connect for an upcoming X Spaces session.
Ah, okay. And did anyone notable respond?
They did. Anthony Pompliano from the Pomp podcast, he responded. And McGregor put out a call like, we need the greatest minds for this BTC reserve. Message me and let's chat on my space.
Right, trying to gather some brain power.
Yeah, and even David Bailey, who apparently advised Trump on crypto. Yeah. He reached out too. McGregor seemed keen, replied something like, David messaged me, let's discuss your ideas.
Okay, so he's actively trying to engage with people who, understand this world.
Seems like it. Which brings up the bigger question, really. What would a national Bitcoin reserve actually mean for Ireland?
Good question. It sounds big.
Well, think of it like how countries hold gold reserves. But here, it's Bitcoin. It could be a sort of national investment, maybe, or a way to hedge bets, perhaps.
But Bitcoin's so volatile, isn't it? Managing that risk on a national level seems tricky.
Incredibly tricky. That's a huge question mark. Volatility, security, regulation.
It's
complex.
Okay, so stepping back a bit, this proposal doesn't exist in a vacuum. What's the political context here? When did he even announce he was running?
That was back in late March 2025, an independent candidacy.
And what was his platform focused on before this Bitcoin idea surfaced?
Mostly anti-immigration policies and tackling crime, kind of the more expected populist themes, you could say.
So this crypto angle is, well, a bit different from that.
Definitely adds a new, unexpected layer to his campaign. And the clock's ticking, too. The Irish presidential election, it has to happen by November 11th this year, 2025. The current president's term ends the very next day.
Wow. Okay. So not a lot of time to build momentum for this, especially something this unconventional.
Exactly. And the article we're looking at makes that point, too. Establishing a national Bitcoin reserve. Says it's no easy feat.
Yeah, I bet. Especially if you're an independent, right? Without a major party machine behind you.
Absolutely. You need deep crypto knowledge, serious financial backing, and a lot of political agreement. It's a massive undertaking.
Has any country actually done this successfully? Or tried?
The article mentions a few pioneers, if you can call them that. The U.S. has holdings, though maybe not a reserve in the same way. El Salvador, famously. And apparently Bhutan.
El Salvador, right. Why did they do it again?
Main reasons were things like making remittances cheaper for people sending money home and trying to boost financial inclusion for those without bank accounts.
But hasn't that been kind of rocky for them with the price swings?
Yeah, their experience has definitely highlighted the challenges, that volatility we mentioned. It's hit their national finances pretty hard at times.
Okay. So back to McGregor. He's not exactly uncontroversial himself, is he? There's some baggage there.
That's definitely part of the picture. He got a bit of a political boost recently, meeting Donald Trump at the White House. Apparently got his support. But back in Ireland, he's under intense scrutiny. There was that recent guilty verdict in a civil sexual assault case.
Which he's appealing, right?
Yes, appealing. And he's also been investigated for hate speech crimes previously. These are serious things voters will be looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. It creates a really complex situation for voters, doesn't it? Policy proposals on one hand, personal history on the other.
For sure. And then there's his own track record in the crypto space recently.
Oh, right. This isn't his first crypto rodeo, so to speak. What happened there?
Well, the article mentions the real project. He backed it. They did a token pre-sale, and it didn't go well. They only raised about $392,000 over like 28 hours.
How much were they aiming for?
The minimum target was $1 million, so they fell way short, less than half.
Ouch. So what happened to the money they did raise?
They had to give it all back. Full refunds to everyone who chipped in.
So a pretty public failure in the crypto space just before proposing this massive national crypto project.
Yeah, the contrast is interesting. You've got this grand vision for a national reserve, but the recent smaller venture stumbled.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it, about the practical side of this new proposal. Did they learn anything from the real project setback? Or is it maybe a sign of, well, potential future difficulties?
It definitely raises those questions about feasibility and planning.
Now, looking at the article itself, the tags are interesting. Bitcoin, business, Ireland, elections, regulation, Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah, it really highlights how interconnected this all is. It's not just a tech story. It's politics, it's finance, it's national identity almost.
And it mentions some related Editor's Trace articles, too, hinting at the wider context.
Right, things about Bitcoin's price, deflation talk, regulatory action. We don't need to dive into those, but it shows McGregor's idea is landing in a really active, complex space for crypto overall.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways. We've got Conor McGregor, undeniably a high-profile, controversial figure,
Right.
running for Irish president as an independent. And he's put forward this really bold idea, a national Bitcoin reserve.
But it faces huge hurdles. Practical challenges of setting up a reserve, his lack of party backing, that recent failed crypto project, plus all the personal scrutiny he's under.
Yeah, it seems like a long shot in terms of actually happening anytime soon.
Probably. But the significance perhaps isn't just about immediate implementation. It's about how it injects cryptocurrency and these kinds of alternative economic ideas right into the mainstream political conversation in Ireland.
Good point. It forces people to at least think about the role digital assets could play nationally, even if the person proposing it is unconventional.
Exactly. It gets the discussion going.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. What happens if we see more public figures like this from outside traditional politics start pushing similarly radical economic policies? Never mind if they're likely to happen right away. What are the pros and cons, the risks and benefits of having these big, disruptive ideas debated seriously on a national stage?
That's a really interesting question. It definitely makes you think about where political debate might be heading and how we talk about the future of money and the economy.